These oysters have been tickling the nation's taste buds since Roman times, placing this seaside town firmly on the map. But where am I? Find out in just a moment. In today's show, I'll be helping a couple beat a retreat from Greater London and enjoy the peace of country life. And one of our houses sends their spirits soaring.
I'm quite blown away by this, actually.
But does it come with the right price tag? You're both looking at me longingly.
We are, because if it's any more, we're in trouble.
Today I'm in Kent, in the fishing town of Whitstable. Now, oysters have been caught here for almost 2,000 years. And in the industry's heyday, during the 19th century, more than 80 million oysters were dispatched from here to the fish markets of London every year. Today, the tradition is remembered with an annual oyster festival, and I'll be joining in the fun later in the programme. But first, let's take a look at what else this beautiful county has to offer. Rubbing shoulders with the capital, the southeastern county of Kent also borders Surrey and East Sussex, with which it shares a coastline defined by stretches of chalky cliffs, offering vistas over the English Channel. Inland, Kent's crop fields, orchards and hop plantations give rise to the county's nickname of the Garden of England. The legacy from its hop-growing heritage is evident in its architecture, with many former oast houses converted into dwellings, with their conical roofs a defining feature of Kent's rural landscape. If you're contemplating escaping to the Kent countryside, it's worth remembering that this county is very popular with city workers, wanting a rural bolt hole within easy commuting distance of the capital. In fact, with the introduction of the new super-fast rail link, it can take as little as 40 minutes to reach London. And those city salaries, well, they're keeping house prices buoyant. An average detached property here will cost you £61,000 more than the national average. So, let's take a look at what's currently available. For offers over £400,000, this three-bedroom Grade 2 listed thatched cottage near Wingham has been tastefully modernised and boasts a large inglenook fireplace which harks back to its 17th century origins. Outside, the grounds extend to nearly a quarter of an acre. Or how about this four-bedroom 1940s house in Little Chart for £599,000 with its charming thatched roof? Inside provides 4 reception rooms in which the original brick fireplaces are a running theme. You'll need a big budget for this 4-bedroom former granary in Hawkhurst, priced at £850,000. Its living spaces are open plan, with beams and trusses adding a rustic feel. Outside, the 3/4 of an acre of grounds include a swimming pool. Some cracking Kent properties there, with 3 more to come. But first, we need some buyers, so let's meet them. Samantha and Miles currently live in their 5-bedroom property in the London borough of Bromley. Samantha commutes to her job as a primary school head teacher 12 miles away, and Miles takes the train into the city, where he works for a bank. But recent events have forced them to take stock and seek out a more relaxed existence.
We have a very busy lifestyle. We both work long hours in very busy jobs, and it would be really nice to actually leave work and come home to a quieter place. But what's really pushed us to think about it sooner rather than later was my diagnosis of cancer 20 months ago, which I have fully recovered from. But it does make you think a little bit more about getting there sooner rather than putting things off to another time.
They both have a clear vision of what they want from their new lifestyle.
I quite like the idea of being part of a smaller community as opposed to living in this area. You don't really get to know people because it's quite transient, people moving in and out. So I'd like to be part of a smaller community.
Yeah, that would be lovely. We'd also like a bit more land, a bit more space, not too much, but enough to actually consider getting back into gardening. I know they all say it, but growing your own, it'd be so nice to have some space to have a greenhouse.
While house hunting in earnest over the past 6 weeks, they've drawn up a wish list for their next property.
So I think we're looking for a 4-bedroom detached house, hopefully with quite a large kitchen.
I really do want those period features. Yeah, the open fireplace. And I quite like beams, as long as the ceilings aren't too low. Beams are lovely. Around an acre's worth of land, I think. And with that view, that outlook over the countryside would be perfect.
As well as not being overlooked, location is also a top priority, as Sam needs good motorway access to work and Miles needs a train station. That's the shopping list for the house taken care of. The money has been finalised too.
Our budget for the new property is £700,000. Ideally it could be a little bit less than that because of the costs of moving, and we don't really want to increase our mortgage.
The past 18 months have been challenging for Miles and Sam, but it seems Sam's battle with cancer has made them both focus their minds on what they really want from life. But what do they both want from a house? Now, so far, they've viewed 11 properties and haven't found their dream home. Hopefully, we're going to change all that. Mindful that we need fast train links into London for Miles and easy access to the motorways for Sam, we'll be focusing our house search in rural pockets around the Ashford area. We've cherry-picked 3 beautiful country homes for them to see, although they will have to guess the price of each before I reveal it to them. The last of these is our mystery house, which throws an entirely unexpected way of living into the mix. So Miles and Sam, welcome to Kent, the Garden of England.
Yeah.
So you've had enough of city life and you're ready to move out, be a little bit more rural. Would that be true, Miles?
I think where we are is quite suburban and it's getting more and more built up all the time, so moving down here is completely different.
And before we set sail and start looking, remind me of your budget.
700,000, but it'd have to have the wow factor and possibly a few period features.
Oh, OK. All right. Ready to get going?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Come on then, let's go. With their £700,000 budget, Sam and Miles are looking for a detached property which gives them loads of character features. High on the wish list is a large kitchen diner, 4 bedrooms, one of which can accommodate a study, and an acre of garden with countryside views. Crucially, the location needs to have good transport links so they can travel to their respective jobs. There's also other work they're passionate about continuing once they move. Now, you've both set up a charity, haven't you, in the Bromley area? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yes, it's the South East London Breast Cancer Trust, which we started up following my diagnosis of breast cancer in October 2009. And we have raised since then around £160,000 and bought a specific piece of equipment for the hospital which has improved treatment for patients.
Wow. And is this something that you're going to continue to be involved with even if you're moving down to Kent?
I think we will. I mean, I'm chairman of the trust and Sam's does a lot of the organisation, so I think we'll keep going for some time,
Yeah. So we've got to make sure we find your property that's got enough space so you can run parts of the charity from that.
Yes, because the top floor of our house at the moment is Charity HQ, and so we do need a place to stick everything when we move on.
We'll bear that in mind along with good transport links as we get our property search underway close to the village of Charing. The train station here gives Miles good access to London via Ashford. Historically, it lay on the Pilgrim's Way between London and Canterbury, and these days, many of its traditional timbered buildings house a great variety of independent shops and amenities. On the outskirts of the village lies this barn conversion. Its origins date back to the 19th century. What do you think? about your first property?
First impressions is really good. Really good. Beautiful. Yeah. Lovely.
Miles, what do you think?
No, I think the same, yeah,
Yeah?
I like it. And it's a nice outlook across the fields.
Yes, this dates back to about 1860. It's not listed. It's a Flemish bonding style, the main part of the barn.
Yeah.
And you've had two extensions with the English bonding style, which is the bricks and the mortar either side. You've got a double garage. It's actually a tandem garage. It goes right the way back with plenty of storage.
Yeah, that's really important for us actually. And having this large driveway in.
Yep.
Off-street
Yeah.
parking, plenty of room to park a few cars. Very good.
And Kent peg tile roof.
Yes, I like Kent peg tile
Yeah.
roofs.
Typical for this area, which is always lovely.
Very pretty.
Time to step inside.
Okay, yeah.
They've reacted very positively to the exterior, and they'll also find the interior has some striking features. So do come on through.
This is lovely.
It's an impressive reception room, isn't it?
It's the light on both sides coming through. That's quite unusual, isn't it, to have it like that?
You don't usually see this much light and so many windows in a barn.
Yeah.
I love the wooden floors in here, so it makes it quite rustic. Yeah, it's definitely.
And there's just the sense of space you get from that.
Yeah.
But as you say, it doesn't detract
No.
from the main body of the house.
No, and the actual living space with fireplace brings that coziness in, so you have got best of both worlds, actually. I think we've thought through quite well.
Yeah.
As you walk through the front door, you've got a downstairs cloakroom.
Yep.
And just to the left, through that door, is a study. It's got an ensuite, so it could be a bedroom.
So you could sort of
Yeah.
do the two, really,
Yeah.
couldn't you?
Yeah. The huge dimensions and style of this property seem to be winning them over. But will the kitchen with the spacious utility room next door measure up? So just a couple of stairs leads us into our kitchen.
Smaller than what I would have wanted, and probably I would give it a little bit of an update.
Yes.
But lots of potential here.
Good. I like Sam's use of the P word, and I think upstairs has plenty to offer too. Off the galleried landing are 3 bedrooms, 2 of which are doubles, and a modern family bathroom. But we'll take a look at the master.
Yeah, I love the beams in here as well, carrying it through. It's lovely.
What do you think of the size of the bedroom?
It's a little on the small side,
Yeah, in terms of storage within the bedroom, I think we'd struggle a bit, wouldn't we, with the size?
You've got one wardrobe behind me.
Yeah.
This bedroom also has an ensuite.
Right, lovely.
That's a big plus.
Yeah.
Which has recently been updated, so that wouldn't need anything doing to it at all.
Yeah, I think the ensuite's a real biggie for
Lovely.
us. That's
Yeah.
great.
The stepladder leads up to the loft, which is currently used as extra storage space for clothes. With the house covered, it's time to survey the grounds outside, which are mainly laid to lawn, and offer Sam plenty of scope for growing her vegetables and have those countryside views she asked for. So do you think there's enough garden here for you? Is it manageable?
Yeah, definitely. We don't need much more than this at all. I can hear the road.
That's the A20.
Yeah,
That is the A20.
just a little, very
Yeah.
little minus there, but the outlook is lovely.
How much is this beautiful barn on the market for?
I would think about £600,000.
Okay.
I'm going to be a bit more generous. I think 625 would be a reasonable price.
Right. You're both out by quite a large amount.
God.
Current asking price, and it's just gone on the market. I think it's been on for 2 weeks now. £695,000. So right near the top of
yeah.
your budget. Well, why don't you go and have another look around? Because there is so much you could do with this barn. It's
Yeah.
a beautiful building, and I'll catch up with you a little bit later.
Okay, thank
you.
you.
Go. Although the price of £695,000 came as a surprise, our barn conversion is still under their budget and delivers many of the criteria on their wish list. It provides them with that wonderful reception area with the character features they were both after. A kitchen diner which, in Sam's words, had potential, 4 possible bedrooms, and a large garden with uninterrupted views. What's more, it's well located for them both to travel by road and rail to work.
When I first came to the house, I thought, wow, what a good start, absolutely fantastic, really good curb appeal. And coming into this first room with the light and the double aspect barn windows was the wow factor. Fell in love with this room. Bedrooms, okay, but not sure I could go up and down a ladder to retrieve my clothes every morning.
I think this is a lovely looking property, beautiful from the outside, and I'm quite excited about what you could do with this kitchen if you opened it up into the utility room. I think it'd be a fabulous space. I'd probably also want to do something with the outside patio area, which when that all comes together, feels like it's going to cost a fair amount of money.
Happy?
Yeah, very good start, Nikki.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah, all seen enough?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And that's just the first one.
know.
Still got more to come. Kent's reputation as the Garden of England flourishes thanks to the county's mild climate due to its proximity to the sea. The rich heritage of many of its coastal towns also endures, a fine example being Faversham. Its centre is designated a conservation area and includes around 500 listed buildings. They chart the town's prosperity as a commercial port from the late medieval times to the Georgian era. Faversham is also appropriately home to the National Fruit Collection based at Brogdale Farm. As Sam and Miles are interested in growing their own, earlier in the week we arranged for them to meet one of the orchard experts, Michael Austin.
So, Mike, is this an important area for fruit growing generally?
Yeah, Kent has always been one of the main fruit-growing areas of the country. We're quite close to the sea, so it's what's called a maritime climate, so we don't get the very hard frosts in the springtime that many other parts of the country do. First collections were started way back in 1800, when even in those days they were worried that a lot of the varieties were disappearing from the scene, and they wanted to preserve them and stop them from dying out. All the varieties that were in the original collections are still here, plus others that have come along since that time. But we can go way back to a Roman apple, which was supposedly around in about 450 AD. That would be our oldest apple. That's called Decio.
Decio. So how many varieties do you have altogether?
Of apples, about 2,300. There are roughly about 6,000 apple varieties worldwide. So we've got a fair chunk.
I'd say a few more than what's in the supermarket then.
Just a few more, yes.
Gosh, it's unbelievable.
The collection is now owned by DEFRA, the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, and is part of an international initiative to conserve these plants' genetic diversity for the future. The orchards stretch to over 160 acres, where 3,500 varieties of fruit thrive, including 550 pear varieties, 320 different crops of cherries, and among its vast apple collection are 650 types from this country.
This one is James Grieve, which is considered what's called a dual-purpose apple. So this time of the season, it will be an early cooker, and then if you leave it longer on the tree, it mellows to become quite a nice eater.
So that's going to be quite sharp now.
It's be very sharp now, yeah.
Yes, yes.
And all the trees you've got here, people can take and grow themselves?
We can propagate every variety in the collection for people to plant in their gardens.
It's
Right.
amazing.
So out of 2,300, there's quite a bit to...
You need a very big garden.
Wanted to try them all.
Given that Kent has lost more than 85% of its orchards over the last 50 years, it's good news that more apples are grown here than anywhere else in Britain, and there's a wider agenda to protect the rich diversity of our natural food resources. Our house search continues in the village of Mersham. Ashford train station is just over 4 miles away, giving Miles a realistic commute to London. He'll be pleased there are 2 pubs to choose from in the village, along with a handy local shop. And its church still retains some of its Norman origins. Sitting at the end of a sweeping driveway, our second property comes with an architectural heritage of its own. It's Grade 2 listed and is in the quiet location they've asked for. Welcome to your second property.
Oh, this is lovely, Nicki. I really like this.
Do you? Good curb appeal?
Yeah, it's just beautiful.
Miles, what do you think?
Oh, it's a beautiful looking house. I wasn't expecting that entrance
Yes.
either. That's really nice.
No, I don't know what to say.
And it's very quiet here as well.
It is.
It's perfect. The house you would draw as a child.
It is, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Step inside. As we enter around the side of the property, there's a fantastic timber-built garage which could serve as a great charity HQ for them. And inside the main house is where the history really comes alive. So please join me inside.
Oh, I do like this.
The flooring is gorgeous.
I know. Absolutely wonderful. Flagstone flooring. What a beautiful entrance. It's so old, it's beautiful.
It is. Over 300 years.
Yes.
The original beams.
So the history of it, that's it for me.
And
It really
wait
is.
till you see the kitchen.
Yeah, really impressive again.
The kitchen is brand new. It was only done about 4 months ago.
Right.
Got Spanish tiles on the
Yeah,
floor.
just beautiful. I'm quite blown away by this, actually.
And you look out over the garden.
You can.
The view out there is absolutely wonderful. Yeah.
It's the way the beams are exposed is what makes it, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really been thought through properly, hasn't it?
And you love period properties. Miles, how are we doing?
I think just because it's so nicely done, I think it works for me.
And next door carries on that rustic theme. So I think a rather intimate dining room.
Yeah. On the small side, compared to what we're used to, but it is just off the kitchen, so not too far away in terms
Yeah.
of entertaining.
And you've got access outside
Yes.
as well, so in the summer.
That's a real plus.
You eat there.
Well, let's continue.
Yeah.
Adjacent to here is one of this property's 2 living rooms. This cosy snug has an open fireplace that provides a lovely focal point, but the other reception room gives them a more spacious option. You'll be pleased to know this is somewhat larger than the other one, than the other snug.
Yeah. This works better as a living space.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But the features in here are getting beautiful, aren't they? And that radiator's stunning.
It is beautiful.
So ornate, and again you've got the wood burner.
2 quite big settees in here.
Yeah, so there's plenty of space.
Can you imagine yourselves living here so far from what you've seen?
No, I could, yeah.
Can you? Look at those, both of you smiling away. Well, that's
Yeah,
very
it's
good.
Really nice.
Do you fancy heading upstairs?
I can't wait to see the
Let's
rest.
take a look at the bedrooms. The style and layout of this beautiful home seems to be hitting the right note. Let's see if we can build on that upstairs. So we've got 4 bedrooms in total, and this one is the master.
Lovely.
Big enough size, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I don't know what to say. Which is quite a first for me. It's just beautiful.
You've got storage there, which leads all the way through to the other bedroom.
Over the
Yes.
stairs.
Yes.
You've got plenty of height as well.
Yeah. Oh, I'm saying it again. I'm blown away, Nicki. Blown away.
Delighted. And if Miles feels the same, it's the icing on the cake. Pressure's on you, Miles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it is.
Good, right. The other 3 bedrooms include a large light double with that beautiful sash window and 2 smaller rooms, one of which they could turn into their study. What's more, the family bathroom features an elegant roll-top bath. With a resounding thumbs up from both of them for the house, it's time to reveal all the spoils outside. So, here's all the land.
Yeah.
It's roughly between 2 and 3 acres in total. So we've got our friend over there, the chicken. We've got the pigs behind him. We've got a menage at the back. We've got a triple stable block here. You've got dog kennels there. And I know you want to go walking, so you've got to get a
I
dog.
know,
if you
that's
move
it
in.
now, isn't it?
We're surrounded by walks, that country way of life. You've got a double garage, and then the land goes all the way around there as well. And then you've got a huge mulberry tree behind us.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
It's a lovely setting, isn't it? I'd like to go and have a walk round it.
Yeah.
Really.
I would
Yeah.
love you to go and explore I'm not going to let you go anywhere until you tell me how much you think this is on the market for.
This has got to be above our ceiling.
Well, I'll say it's £700,000.
I'm going higher, £725,000.
You're both looking at me longingly.
We are, because if it's any more, we're in trouble.
OK, current price for this house? Between £700,000 and £750,000.
Right, so we're more or less on the money.
Yeah. Do have a wander. Go up and look at the stable block and the menage first, and then work your way around the property. And I'll meet you out the front.
Okay.
Off you go.
Thank you.
Although it edges over their budget with a guide price of £700,000 to £750,000, we just had to show them this stunning period home, which provides them with a high-spec country kitchen, 2 reception rooms with original fireplaces, 4 bedrooms, and well over 2 acres of grounds with those all-important views.
I think it's a beautiful house in a lovely setting. I think as you come into the house, it just looks beautiful. Some of the rooms are quite small, but then if they're any bigger, I'm sure the house would be a lot more money. It's certainly going to be a contender.
Character-wise, top of the list, very well done. My one reservation might be location in terms of distance down the M20, and cost of travel for miles might be a little bit of an issue. I also think we'd have to consider maybe opening up this room with the dining room so that we could have a bit more living space. But 10 out of 10. In any other respect, absolutely beautiful house.
That's it. Finished for the day.
Yes, I know. What a beautiful house.
Is it good to end on a high?
I think we have, haven't we?
Oh gosh, yeah. What a
Good
wonderful
news.
day. Thanks, Nikki.
You can relax now. Come on. As evening falls over the Kent coastline, the first day of our house search draws to a close. Armed with their £700,000 budget, Sam and Miles are poised to break free from the city limits of the London borough of Bromley and seek out a more peaceful life in rural Kent. Although nailing the perfect location is proving to be a challenge, the period charm of our second property certainly wowed them. But coming up, the character of our mystery house is on an unimaginable scale.
Oh my goodness me. So how many times have I said stunning?
Say it again.
Stunning.
And I can't get enough of Kent's seafood delicacy. Am I allowed another one?
Yes, you can have as many as you like.
So Miles and Sam are eager to change their London home for a country retreat, but it does have to be within easy commuting distance to the city. The first property we showed them yesterday, the barn, certainly had the curb appeal they were after, but the close proximity to a major road did seem to put them off. Our second property, we took them further afield into East Kent, and that house, it seemed to have it all. The only negative would be the extended travel time to work each morning. So now it's time for our mystery house. But will this accommodation on such a grand scale be to their liking? Our mystery property sits on the outskirts of Langley Village. It has good mainline rail links to London from nearby Headcorn or Maidstone and easy access to the motorway for Sam. Complete with a couple of pubs and a medieval church, historic architecture is a defining feature of this area, and our mystery proposition is certainly no exception, although it challenges our couple to entertain the idea of having quite a few neighbours, something they specifically didn't want. Only a few more steps, because we are in the heart of Kent, and I've brought you to your mystery house. Look up.
Do you get on with this? Oh my goodness me. There's it's amazing. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So I presume it's a part of the house.
It is a part of the house. Yep, the house dates back to the Elizabethan period, built around 1599.
Wow.
So it's Grade 2 listed,
Yeah.
and it's actually divided up into 7 different properties
Yeah.
within the manor house. So Miles, what do you think?
I want to know which bit.
Which bit's yours? Okay. Well, you'll be pleased to know it's the largest bit.
Oh, is
I think
it?
we should step inside.
I think we should.
Come on. Our mystery offering may be a slice of the whole mansion house, but inside they get grand reception rooms on a huge scale with plenty of historic features. So, you come through the main entrance, and this is your section of the house.
That window is stunning.
Isn't it? It's a lovely view out of there.
Yeah, wow, we've gone back in time, haven't we?
We certainly have. And you wanted a real fire.
Yes.
You've got the original wood panelling all around. I mean, just look at the work on that fireplace.
I must admit, communal living isn't my thing at all, but this building, this room, just on its own, is amazing.
Yeah. The drawing room next door is of a similar size. I love this. I feel like a guide in a stately home.
It does feel like we're on a tour, definitely. Wow.
It's quite a bit to take in, isn't it? Because you don't just walking around quickly.
Yeah. You've got the mullion windows. I mean, all these windows in here are leaded.
Yeah, and I love the deep wooden windowsills. It's just such an amazing property. I think I like it because it's so unusual.
After the historic splendour of the reception rooms, we'll take a leap forward in time. So, a bit of a contrast when we come
Yes.
through to the kitchen, which is very modern and very different from the rest of the house.
I can see the amount of money that's been spent here, but I'm not quite sure about the decor.
I think the work surfaces or the floor on their own would have been okay, but the two together.
Yeah, very busy for quite a small kitchen.
Yes. It's not large. Could you work in a kitchen this size?
Yeah, I think it's doable because there's a lot of space everywhere else, so it's not too bad. And I like the fact that you actually can go straight out onto the garden from here, I presume.
There's a basement too, which gives them loads of storage space and even includes a wine cellar. But we'll head upstairs where there are 4 bedrooms spread over 2 floors. Leading off the first floor landing is an enormous double. Its fireplace and panelling gives it a really lavish Tudoresque feel, and there's a bright modern family bathroom opposite. The other 3 bedrooms on the second floor certainly won't disappoint on size or character. The 2 guest doubles are large and light, both with those high vaulted ceilings and exposed beams, which are a show-stopping feature of the master. So, if you fancied being one of Henry VIII's wives, you'd probably live something similar to this.
I've said, how many times have I said stunning?
Say it again.
Stunning. Just beautiful.
You got your window seat you wanted.
It's so beautiful.
It also has a very modern ensuite.
All right.
There's no doubt that our mystery house gives them lots of living space and more period features than they could have possibly imagined. Outside, there are 11 acres of grounds to roam around in, and although they wouldn't have to maintain it, they would have to share it with the other residents. So let's see if our mystery house has changed their preconceptions. I don't think you'd have considered looking at a house like this, would you?
No. You've challenged us.
I've challenged you. Let's see if we've challenged you with the price.
I haven't got.
Our final house. What's the price?
I'll say 725.
Okay.
I'm gonna say £739,000.
You're both wrong. You're both
Surprised.
over.
Oh, I'm really surprised at that, actually.
£695,000.
Oh, on the nose, really? Yeah. My goodness me.
Yep. Is it a slice of history you want to invest in? Don't tell me yet. You've got a lot to think about. Go on.
Yeah.
Have some fun.
Okay.
See you later. Well, the Mystery House has certainly worked its magic, but how can it not when it's this impressive? Under budget at £695,000, Sam and Miles can afford to buy the principal part of our unique and opulent Mystery Manor House. It provides them with 2 reception rooms with extraordinary character features, 4 bedrooms including a master suite, and it's all wrapped up in over 11 acres of communal grounds and set in an idyllic location.
I'm blown away by this house. It absolutely oozes period charm everywhere you look. I never thought in a million years we'd be looking at a property like this. I just have one tiny reservation, and I feel even wrong saying it, and it's, am I ready to actually be in more of a communal environment than I had originally anticipated?
I think this is an amazing house. You get an awful lot of space for the money here. If the kitchen was a bit bigger, then that would be perfect, but I think if that was the only compromise, I don't think that's too much of an issue. I think this property is a real contender.
It really is the most spectacular mystery property. Right, you two, have you seen enough?
We have, I think.
Yeah, we have.
All 3 are very different, aren't they?
Very different indeed.
Yeah. Hope we haven't confused you too much.
Utterly confused, actually. I think you've thrown us a real curveball with this property.
Well, let's go somewhere quiet. You can gather your thoughts and then tell us what you think.
Okay.
I grew up on the North Kent coast, so as a local girl, I was keen to return to the area and visit Whitstable to sample the local traditions and the seafood delicacy, namely the oysters, which underpin the town's heritage. I've actually come out of oyster season, which starts on the 1st of September, but Whitstable's Oyster Festival is held every year around the time of the 25th of July, which historically fell within the holiday period for the oyster dredgers. I'm meeting the festival organiser Brian Baker to discover more about its past and relevance today. There's been a real resurgence in the love of oysters, especially in this area. I mean, we can see a lot of the children today are building these little shells, like domes. What's going on there?
Well, if we go back to the early days here, the children at this time of year would be celebrating with their parents who worked in the oyster industry, and the 25th of July was the Feast of St James, the patron saint of shellfish. The children would build these grottos in the alleyways, and a passerby would not be allowed to come by unless they paid a penny for the grotto.
Now, we think of oysters as well, sort of millionaire food. They're quite expensive. But 100 years ago, they weren't like that, were they?
No, they're the food of the poor. And millions of oysters came off these beds and straight up into Billingsgate. And certainly, yes, they fed the poor of London, really. They were a staple diet.
In the 19th century, when oyster stocks were thriving and cheap, they were used to bulk out dishes such as pies, soups and stews. Yet by the 1920s, the industry was almost wiped out by a combination of disease and overfishing. However, the oyster beds were revived in the early 1980s, and I'm meeting one of the pioneers, Barry Green, whose family run a successful seafood restaurant in the town. Barry, you run the Whitstable Oyster Company, and can I just say thank you very much, because you've provided me with a very fine spread here. I love oysters. So I can eat oysters all year round,
You can eat these all the year round. These are the cultivated ones, native ones, which are farmed in the deeper water. There has to be an hour in the month.
Is that true?
Yeah, because they're spawning and breeding during the summer months. So it's better to leave them.
Should I cook them or have them raw?
You can cook them or have them raw.
What do you prefer?
I prefer both. This is wine vinegar with shallots. I would eat it with nothing.
Right.
But if you dip them in that like that,
Yes.
I think for somebody who's never eaten one before, it's probably more palatable.
Better than just putting the shell to your mouth?
Yes.
Oh, I have to say, with the shallots.
So it makes a difference, doesn't it?
It does. I've had oysters before, and I do like oysters, but I really like it like that. Am I allowed another one?
Yes, you can have as many as you like.
As night falls down on the seashore, the children's grottos are lit after a ceremonial blessing of the sea, which has been performed for 200 years and still seems fitting for a town so in love with its oysters. Well, you can't beat Whitstable on a sunny day. And our house hunt here in the Garden of England is over. But has the search proved fruitful? Time to find out. So our search of Kent is now over with you two. Question is, did we find you your dream home? The first property we saw, just outside the picturesque village of Charing. Well, you tell me what you thought when you first saw it.
Well, from the outside, as soon as we walked up to the barn, it looked beautiful. You could tell that it had character, plenty of windows, lots of light, very inviting property.
And if you'd have extended the kitchen into the utility room and done something with the sort of patio area outside, I think it would
have been great.
Would have been a really nice home then.
And the surrounding area, the outlook was good, but to the right was the M20 and to the left was the A20, and that sort of put me off.
House number 2, just outside Mersham.
Yeah, that one just absolutely blew me away in terms of that chocolate box cottage look. Much smaller downstairs than I would have hoped for. I feel where this particular property was just that bit too far. It was past Ashford, Junction 10, which would add quite a considerable amount of time, probably another 20, 25 minutes on top of the additional time I was looking at.
Ooh, if I could move that house a little bit closer.
If you could, I think that would have been there'd been a sold sign outside.
It'd be more money, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Very true, very true. And of course, our third and final house, the mystery. A little on the small side for the two of you.
It was huge inside, absolutely stunning. I think the mystery house has really blown everything out of the water for us.
We talked about how it was positioned and you had your own back door, and I think a large portion of that that back garden, garden's not the right word, is it? It would almost be yours.
But is that more of an executive lifestyle rather than a country living lifestyle? I don't know.
What comes next?
I think we just need to do a bit more homework, don't we?
I don't think the mystery house is out of the equation
Really?
yet. No.
I'm not arguing with that.
No. Perhaps the mystery property is the one for you.
I think we've got some more talking to do.
More talking, more thinking.
Yes.
Well, thank you both so much.
Oh, we've really enjoyed it, Nikki. It's been good fun.
Well, it's been delightful, and hopefully you're one step closer to finding that dream home.
Thank you very much, Nikki.
For Sam and Miles, this move represents not just finding a home in the country, but a quality of life they both long for after what's been a very difficult 18 months. Now, if ever there was a couple you'd want to find the perfect property for, it's these two. And although we didn't quite achieve it, hopefully we've got them just that little bit closer. Until next time. Sam and Miles loved the mystery house, but after much deliberation, they decided that communal living wasn't for them. If you'd like to escape to the country in Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland or England and need our help, please apply online at bbc.co.uk/Be On A Show.